For remodeling, what's some mistakes you've seen people do, like when they've decided to remodel their house before they sell, and you're like, you didn't have to do that?
Some people put too much money into their remodel.
Mm.
And as such, the house is now, the expectation from the owner is that the house is worth X. And essentially they priced the house out of the market.
Adam, should I remodel before I sell? You just went through your kitchen got remodeled, your house got remodeled. Let's dive into this topic for us.
Yeah, sure. Great question. As you mentioned, I am just on the coming out of a large home improvement from my own home. I renovated my kitchen. I renovated some bathrooms, new flooring. It was a pretty substantial renovation, but that's for where I live. When you're thinking about selling your home, I get this question a lot. Should I update my kitchen or should I finish the basement? And it's obviously very specific to the market, to the neighborhood, but most of the time my advice is if you're selling your home, you don't want to spend money and time doing major renovations to the house. Let's say you live in a home and the kitchen is from the 1990s or the 1980s. Yes, of course, it would be great if you had a big, beautiful, modern kitchen, but your taste is different from other people's tastes. Not to mention the fact, and I know this firsthand, when you are renovating your home, inevitably something is going to come up that you weren't expecting, which could very well add more time to the project. So do you really want to be living in a construction zone with the dust and the debris and the contractors coming in every day? No, probably not. So my advice would be, if you're looking to sell, there could be easier things to do to the home to add value. For example, you could paint. You'd be shocked at what a can of paint can do to a room. Maybe it's refinishing the hardwood floors. If the hardwood floors are scratched over years of walking and furniture moving and all that, you could refinish the floors. You could put in modern fixtures like lighting fixtures, doorknobs. Things like that go a tremendous way in making a home feel more spacious and modern. But when it comes to knocking down walls and building new kitchens or new bathrooms, I always say pump the brakes. Don't get involved in that. Let the next guy worry about it. You don't know how much it's going to cost you, how long it's going to take, and you certainly don't know what other people's tastes are going to be.
Yeah, like it's even people that flip houses. I know they do that like full time. Like I'm sure there's like a strategy kind of to what they remodel, how they fix things. Typically people, so yes, I guess if you wanted to try to attempt to do, let's say there's someone out there and they're thinking about doing that kitchen remodel before they sell their house so that they can get more money, what would you recommend for them if they're gonna go forward, like no matter what, they've already decided, what would you tell them? Yeah.
If they're set in it, then what I would suggest is to make sure that whatever you're choosing materials wise is neutral. It's just a neutral color. Obviously you can look at Pinterest. You can even watch shows on HGTV just to see what the styles are. You don't want to go with anything too bold or too exotic. You just want to go with middle of the road, neutral, safe options. Because again, you just don't know what other people like. I see it all the time. People love their home and they love their style, and they think everyone is going to love their style because they love it, and they don't understand when someone comes in and says this thing is ugly, or I don't get the concept. And so for that reason, if someone is really gung-ho about making those big improvements, then it would be take a look at Pinterest to get an idea for what sort of the hot general things are right now in terms of hardware, in terms of cabinet colors, and go with those. And backsplash. Don't do anything too crazy and too bold.
What about, so maybe like we talked about painting on the inside. What about the painting of the outside of it?
Curb appeal is so critical. You only have, as the adage goes, you have one time to make a first impression.
Yes. And
painting the outside of a house is something that could be suggested depending on the overall condition of the house, the exterior of the house. Again, painting can be very costly. I don't think in my career I've ever had a house repainted to sell, unless it's in just awful shape. If the shingles, the paint is really bad, then yes, then there needs to be something done. But I would say more than that, how does the yard look? Are the bushes pruned? Is the grass cut if there's grass? Does the front of the house, does it look like it's been maintained? If you own a home and the exterior is looking a little ragged and run down, then those are the types of things that you can focus on as well. Cut the grass, prune the bushes, maybe add some fresh mulch or crushed stone. There's a lot of different things you can do for cheap money that is going to go a long way towards curb appeal. Looking at a roof, for example, roofs are very expensive and roofs can cost tens of thousands of dollars depending on the situation. So even if you have an old roof, that might be too rich for some people to replace a roof. Now, you obviously are going to have to account for that in the price, the asking price, because that's going to be the responsibility for the next person. But by doing the landscaping, by just doing those few other things, it can somewhat offset the fact that the roof is 30 years old and needs to be replaced.
So if it's your primary residence versus if it's an investment property?
Well, so if you're looking to sell it or if you're looking to hold on to it?
Yeah, so if you're looking to sell it, it's an investment property versus if it's your primary residence, kind of a thing, like for doing some of these steps for remodeling. So let's do the examples. If it's an investment property and you're looking to sell it, should you remodel like certain things, or should you just let's say the house is like you've just let it, there's things that need to be replaced. Should you just sell it as is, or should you just go for it to do the remodel, like an investment property?
That's a great question. As an investor myself, I like to find properties that don't need a lot of maintenance, that are just rented, getting good rents, that maybe the insides need to be painted, but the main guts of the house, the systems, the windows, the plumbing, that's all in pretty good shape. So I guess on the flip side, if you own an investment property and you're looking to sell it, certainly I think you will get more interest and a higher dollar value if those things are done. But every investor is different. If you own a property and the property is making money, and maybe you have long-term tenants in there and they're good tenants and it's just chugging right along, then an investor might say, you know what, I don't care that the kitchens are 30 years old because the rents are good regardless, and I got good tenants in there. So that's a very specific individualistic question what to do. I don't have an easy answer for that, unfortunately.
Yeah. For remodeling, what's some mistakes you've seen people do, like when they've decided to remodel their house before they sell, and you're like, you didn't have to do that?
Some people put too much money into their remodel. And as such, the expectation from the owner is that the house is worth X, and they've priced the house out of the market. Maybe the owners decide to use a marble backsplash as opposed to tile, and as such spend $5,000 more. And so they're thinking again in their own head what they like, not what from a cost analysis what makes the most sense. Like we said earlier, I just finished my own home, my primary residence. Now I'm not selling it, but as a real estate professional, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, okay, if I ever did sell this, what is going to be attractive to buyers versus what is more just for me? I'll give you an example. I watch HGTV. I was watching an HGTV, one of these remodeling shows, and one of the remodel guys put in a glass rinser like you would see at a bar. When you're in the sink, you push the glass in and it rinses glass. Okay. Totally unnecessary. It was like a $300 thing, but I was like, I have to have that. I want one because I'm not moving, so I want it. So that's something just for me. Now, in the grand scheme of things, that might make this house a little bit unique, or just a small little thing, but I can't expect I'm going to get $10,000 extra for it. I can't expect I'm going to get any extra money for it. So that's something that's just more of a unique to me type of thing. Versus with the kitchen, I put in a new pantry where there used to be just dead space. Now that's a value add. That's extra storage. It's a place where you can put large appliances or the dog's food or things like that, that is something that is going to be appealed to the masses.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Pantry. Like, yeah, we could always use one of those. That's great. Okay, sweet. All right. If you are going through a remodel, or if you have any other additional questions about this particular subject, go ahead and comment down below and we will get back to you. Or you can hit Adam up on social media and give him a DM or shoot him a text and a phone call.
I always love hearing stories, people's stories, remodeling stories. I've been doing a weekly video on my social media channel on Facebook to show the progress. I love getting people's feedback and comments and style ideas, and I'm always happy to offer. Hey guys, if you're liking this content and are eager to hear more, I would encourage you to keep on watching. Click on the button to subscribe, and you will be the first to get new, fresh content as soon as I put it on the internet.